Please make welcome to her feet the member from St. James West Central for her contribution to the debate.
Madam Speaker, this bill entitled an act to amend the Cybercrimes Act and to provide for connected matters is seeking to give effect to recommendations of a joint select committee that had been set up to consider and report on the act. While one parliament does not bind another, decision can be taken to implement work done in a previous parliament, but it's important for us to appreciate that work done in one parliament does not necessarily bind another parliament as a general rule, but they are incomplete matters that may be taken up in a new parliament. Madam Speaker, how we sufficiently provide for misbehavior in this age of technology is troubling. Bad actors may stay in other jurisdictions and create content that is published anywhere. And we have to grapple with effectively dealing with those issues. The bill in clause 5 is deleting the words sent to another person and substituting the word publish. In a side conversation with the minister piloting the bill, I shared with him that publication in law has a particular meaning. And in the law of defamation, publication must be made to at least one other person than the person being defamed. This is not the defamation law, but it is seeking to do things in a similar way to ensure that those who create content that is defamatory can be published. Those who create content that is malicious and is injurious to others can be dealt with. I'm wondering whether the amendment may have an unintended effect. It indicates that it shall be a defense in any proceedings to the commission of an offense for the defendant to show that the image was published only to the individual depicted in the image. And I just wonder whether it could provide license for taunting and blackmailing. Say, for example, consenting adults are engaging in activities. The activities are photographed or videoed, and one may say, send me the pictures, send me the video, not knowing the full extent of what was photographed or videoed. And it is sent to the person. And the law is saying that it shall be a defense to an offense that a person publishes an intimate image of anyone without consent if the publication was done only to the individual depicted in the image. I would like to invite a reconsideration of this. because I foresee unintended consequences with this provision. The law should not create a license for anyone to think that they can blackmail someone, send taunting images, haunt you, disturb your peace of mind. And that's the end of it, simply because it is passed between the two people. And you may have said, send me the pictures you have taken. And that is presented as having consented to something being sent to you. I think it needs a little more thinking through. But, Madam Speaker, what I believe we need to address urgently is how we deal with people who publish on the internet. On the internet, a number of fake reports are going around. Numerous fake reports. And you know they are artificially generated, artificially altered. I even see some published with myself and other members of this honorable house in handcuffs. And they are going viral. In my case, Madam Speaker, I forwarded the matters to the relevant investigative bodies, only to hear that there is nothing they can do about it. Because, no, these are criminal actions, criminal conduct. Because the IP address is not being shared, and the law is limited only to threats of life. And those who govern the websites are overseas, and they are not sharing the information. And people's reputations are being tarnished. You have children in fear because things are put out about their parents. You have lies being told all over the place. So the law really has to go further. Any law dealing with cyber has to go further. And the real purpose of my contribution to this presentation is to remind that our Parliament does have power to make laws with extraterritorial application. It is something that not many people are aware of. But the legislature of Jamaica has power to make laws having extraterritorial operation. And I'm inviting use of that provision in amending the Cybercrimes Act and dealing with all matters relating to cyber, where the conduct and the misconduct are not restricted to the territorial space of Jamaica. The harm is great. The damage is great. And so while I appreciate what this bill is seeking to do, I join in asking for something more to be done to deal with the real problem that is happening in cyberspace. It cannot be that we have a legal framework and those who are to enforce it are saying that they are powerless to enforce it because the law, they cannot compel anyone to provide information outside of Jamaica. The Parliament of Jamaica has the power to make laws that can apply beyond the jurisdiction. And I'm inviting that that be considered for all reviews. Having said that, Madam Speaker, I'll just ask the Minister to bring the other recommendations to the fore, because the police are saying that there is such a huge gap in the legal framework that they really can do very little in investigating cybercrimes. I don't know how many provisions have been used. I don't know how many cases have been prosecuted. But my personal check in terms of the effectiveness of the framework says that they feel powerless because they can't compel even the disclosure of an IP address. They can't compel disclosure of who holds an account, where an account holder uses that account to publish false content, knowingly, maliciously, deliberately so. And I would dare say criminally so. Invited, done to damage people's reputation, done to cause all kinds of speculation. I had a member of my constituency called me crying. My MP, is it true that you were arrested? Because a picture is circulating with you in handcuffs. It's not funny. It really is not funny. And then another call. People are pleading for me and begging for me because I've been arrested. And if you look closely at the image, you can tell the image doesn't have anybody in of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. I'm sorry? Well, I couldn't be arrested and be here in the house at the same time. But we make light of it. We make light of it. But the truth is that it is harmful. And these things do not just happen. People sit down and they fabricate and they utilize the tools that are available in this digital age. They distort images. They make up stories. They use your voice and your image. And the police are saying, Madam Speaker, to the minister through you, that they can't do anything about it. Because gone are the days when they could say to the telecoms company, give us the IP address. They are telling them that they can't get it without a court order. And then when they get the court order, they are dishonoring the court orders. So we can't legislate in vain. We have to ensure that when we pass laws, they can be enforced. And those who are to benefit from the laws can get the benefit. So all matters dealing with the cyberspace must be able to reach beyond the territorial jurisdiction to where the harm is committed. And the Parliament of Jamaica has the power to do so under the Jamaica Independence Act, which is one of our constitutional instruments. That is the extent of my contribution on this.